Hello friends, welcome back to our lecture series on power electronics, which is initiated by our GATE initiative. Now, in the power electronics, in last class I have discussed about DC to AC power conversion and started with the different application of inverter, then why do we need inverter, then we have discussed about how we convert a DC supply to AC or a DC voltage to AC voltage. That is DC to AC power conversion. Then from there we have discussed single phase inverter, that how it operates and what is the switching structure, what the switching network should be, and their characteristics, what should be the characteristics of the switches for power electronic switches that we will use in the inverter. In that context, I have discussed on the topic that how to establish the switching network using SPDT switch, single pole double throw switch. From there we have established the characteristics of the power electronic switches which is used in inverter. Okay, so today also we will start with there from the inverter, then sometimes we'll discuss on the inverter, then I'll move on to the three-phase inverter from the single phase. So let's start. Now in last class I have shown you that there I have applied a DC voltage. In the DC voltage, this is the switching structure we have derived from the SPDT switch. Basically this individual leg, you can say this is one leg, this is another leg. So if I mark it as leg 1, this is L1 and this is mark it as L2. So this is a leg 1 which is an SPDT switch, and this is leg 2 which is also an SPDT switch. How we have derived this power electronic switch circuit or power electronic switch leg from the SPDT, that I have discussed in the last class. So now in this leg you can see the individual switches. There in one leg there are two switches. What is the characteristics? They can conduct current in bidirectional in both the direction, and it can block voltage in one particular polarity. So if I say that it can conduct current in both the direction, this is the direction, and it can block the polarity in this particular polarity. Now same for all the switch. So same for all four. I have just shown for one. Now these things I have discussed. Now in this particular switch, if we see that this terminal, I have mentioned that these are the pole of SPDT switches, and these are the throw of SPDT switches. This is one T1 and this is T2. If I mention this one, this was T11, this is T12. This one was T21, this one was T22. Okay, and this one P1 of this one was P2 in terms of SPDT switch. So now this is what the implementation of single phase inverter we have done. Then there we have seen what kind of output voltage we will get. Now suppose here the output voltage is supposed to be VAB. If it is VAB, now we have derived the 4 states of the switch. Okay, so in 4 states what happens? Suppose say, let's say this is S1, this is S2, this is S3, S4, switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4. Correspondingly, it is connected with antiparallel diode D1, let's say D2. There this is say D4, this is D3. Due to less space, I am writing this way. So what will happen? What are the sets? In set 1, we have derived that switch 1 will be turned on, switch 1 and switch 4. S1 and S4 will be turned on. In set 2, what was turned on? So obviously if I make it a column, what are the on switches that I'll write here? Similarly, off switches, the same thing I have given in last class also, and the output voltage VO, or here VAB mentioned in the present picture. Now S1, S2 was the turn on. Obviously, what was the turn off? That will be S2, S3. Now in set 2, what was the turn on? So obviously it will be what was the turn off in the previous set, that will be turn on now, S2 and S3. What will be turn off? Obviously S1 and S4. So now what was the set 3? Now before that, let us describe the voltage. Output voltage will be positive VTC. This will be negative VDC. Okay. So now in another case, suppose set 2 is done, set 3, in set 3 and set 4. Set 4, what will happen? This may happen, S1 and S3 may be turned on, and S2 and S4 may be turned off. So in that case, what will the output voltage will be 0. And in another case, it may happen S2 and S4 may be turned on, and S1 and S3 may be turned off. In that case also, we will get 0 voltage. So we are getting some redundancy here. Both the cases we are using this one. This redundancy can be utilized to reduce the switching losses, to reduce the number of switching. So accordingly, what voltage we have got it here? We have got the voltage. Let me change the color, which may look good. So initially we have got positive VDC, then we will get 0, and immediately it will move it to the negative VDC, and this one. So this is, if I draw it in the omega t, and this is V output. So this is plus VDC, this is minus VDC, this is pi, this is twice pi. This is positive half cycle, this is negative half cycle. So this is what the output we will get, and this is the periodic waveform. This will go on, continue. Suppose if I draw it, this will continue periodically. Now this is what we have discussed in the last class. So one more thing, you may see that there is no diode operation here. Now where the diode operation will happen? So that one also I have hints I have given in the last class, that if our load current is RL, suppose our load current is R. If the load current is R, then there is no requirement of the diode conduction. But if the load current is load is RL, in that case load current will be bidirectional. Okay. So in that case, what will be the current waveform? Suppose this is minus I naught. I have shown this one. This will be plus I naught. So now at this point, if I change the color, so it will be, let me take white. So if I change the color, what will happen? So this is the waveform we will get. If there is no initial condition, it will start from here, this way. This will be the minus I naught. So this will be the waveform what we will get in case of RL load. This is for RL load. So here this is the negative. So what is the diode conduction? These, for the flow of the negative current, there is a requirement of the diode conduction. In this part, D1 and D4 will conduct for the negative current conduction, and in this case what will operate? S1 and S4. Though they are turned on, but the current will flow, negative current will flow through the D1 and D4 for up to this part. That means up to this duration, and then this will flow through the S1 and S4. Okay, similar thing will happen there also. So this part, this will conduct for S2 and S3 there. This one will be D2 and D3. So that is how the diode conduction plays its role when the load is RL or RLC. Okay. So for the through the switch, the current direction is this one. For the diode, this is the current direction. So reverse current flows through the diodes. That is basically the freewheeling part. So this part we have discussed. Now today we are going to discuss the extended part is the pole voltage concept we will introduce here. How to derive the same waveform using the pole voltage concept, that we are going to explain now. Now suppose say if this is the constant fixed DC voltage, then there is no issues. Now if the DC voltage which is generated at the DC bus, that is coming from, suppose say, rectifier is converting AC to DC, then the DC voltage is feeding to the inverter input, and then it is generating AC again with different magnitude and frequency. So now the DC which will be generated using the rectifier at this point, suppose we are generating rectifier using rectifier. Now that DC will not be constant or fixed DC, there will be ripple present in this place. So to eliminate those ripple, we place a DC link capacitor. This capacitor is called the DC link capacitor. The DC link capacitor we place here. Now this DC link capacitor basically filters out the ripple, and the voltage across the DC link capacitor is VDC. So therefore, instead of DC voltage, I am placed a DC link capacitor. Now this is plus, this is minus. Now here, let's say, for taking reference, instead of this, let me disconnect this voltage. Instead of this one, what we can do, just a minute, I think I have to delete this portion. Eraser is not erasing. Anyway. So what we can do, we suppose say remove this one, I am drawing it extension here. Just remove this part. Remove this part. Now, suppose say what we are doing, we are breaking the voltage in the two part, breaking the capacitors in the two part to get a midpoint, DC bus voltage midpoint. This is for the this will be used for the analytical purpose. That is, suppose say DC bus voltage midpoint. So what is this voltage? This voltage is VDC by 2, and this voltage is minus VDC by 2. This is also VDC by 2. In context to this difference, we will get this one. So this is also VDC by 2. This is plus, this is minus, this is plus, this is minus. So what we are getting, we are separating out and getting the analytical midpoint. Okay, in between the two capacitors. Now what will happen? Let us first find out the pole voltage. What is the pole voltage? Suppose VAO. VA is the pole here. This is the pole. So VA will be the pole voltage. Similarly, VBO will be the pole voltage. Now what will the VAO and VBO will be? So that depends on the connections. Now if S1 is on for the set A, if I consider set A, what will be the VAO? VAO will be plus VDC by 2. Now what will be VBO? Let us, this is for set 1. Let me write here VBO. What will be VBO? This will be minus VDC by 2. Why? Because in this case S1 and S4 is turned on. So if S1 is turned on, this T1 or the plus VDC will be connected here to the pole A, and S4 is turned on. So minus VDC, the DC minus negative DC bus voltage will be connected with the pole B. So we are getting minus VDC. Set 1. Okay. Now for set 2, what we will get? For set 2, similarly we will get minus VDC by 2 for set 2. And for set 3 and 4, we will get 0 because we are freewheeling this. Similarly here, there we will get plus VDC by 2. set 2, and this is for set 3 and 4, for set 3 and 4. This is also 0 for set 3 and 4. Now similarly, the way I have analyzed earlier, using the same thing, what will be turn on and turn off, you can find out these voltages. Both you can find out set these voltages, pole voltages. So for set 1 I have explained. Now for set 2, what is happening? Set 2, S2 and S3 is turned on. So S3 is turned on and S2 is turned on. Now if S2 is turned on, pole A is connected to the negative bus. So we are going to get minus VDC by 2. Similarly, this one, set 3, if set 3 is turned on, switch 3 is turned on, so what will happen? Pole B will be connected to the positive DC bus. So we are going to get plus VDC by 2. Okay. So now let us first understand this pole voltage based on this get signals. Then we will find out the final. Okay, now what will be the VAB expression? What will be the VAB expression? VAB will be VAO minus VBO. Using KVL we can get this. If you apply KVL, you will get this one. VAB equals to VAO minus VBO. Now by using this one, we can find out the VAB expression from the pole voltages. Now let us draw the pole voltages first. Let me change the color. Now suppose this is VAO and there VBO. I'll draw. So what will be VAO? VAO will be VDC by 2. Suppose say this is pi by pi. This is 2 pi. This is pi. This is 2 pi. And in between this will be pi by 2. This will be 3 pi by 2. I'm not writing that part. So what will happen initially? For first, suppose say set 1, that is S1 and S4 is turned on. So VAO will be this positive VDC by 2. This will be plus VDC by 2. Then what will happen? For next half, we will get negative VDC by 2. This is minus VDC by 2. Let me see whether I can write very, it's not visible clearly. Anyway, this is minus VDC by 2. I'm pointing this one. So now what will happen to the VBO? So AO and AO, when for set 1, whenever it is connected to this one, then for the first half cycle, we are getting this one. Sorry. So we will get this one. This is plus VDC by 2. This is minus VDC by 2. I am writing here minus VDC by 2. This is plus VDC by 2. This point. And this is this. Okay. So this is the B pole voltage. Initially for the first half, this is whatever I have given this one. This is basically for the half cycle. Then this switch, the whole thing switches for the next half cycle. That is for set 1 and this is for set 2. So now let us find out what is the output voltage we will get. Now this is, suppose say VAB. This is VAB. Okay, I am erasing this one. 3 and 4. VAB. That means this voltage. Now how to find out the VAB? So VAO minus VO. So what is VAO? Initially first half cycle I am calculating. Second half cycle I can do it. So first half cycle is that VDC by 2 minus VDC by 2. So what we are getting? VDC by 2 plus VDC by 2. So we will get the 2 VDC by 2. That is the VDC, positive VDC. So what we are getting VAB? We are getting, suppose the positive VDC. Then similarly what will happen there? This is the minus VDC by 2 and this is minus VDC by minus of plus VDC by 2. So we will get both minus VDC here. This is minus VDC, this is plus VDC. So you are getting plus VDC and minus VDC. That is the same waveform. This is what we have got it here. Just same thing we are getting. Just for analytical purpose, we are taking one midpoint. DC bias voltage midpoint. This is for analytical purpose. So this will help us later on. That's why I am doing. For three-phase voltage analysis, whenever we are going to explain the three-phase voltage, the construction of the three-phase inverter VSI, then this will help us. So now what will be the current? So obviously that depends on the load. If this R load, we will get this is suppose the VDC less than some point. This will be our current waveform for R load. Now if I change the L load, this is for R load. Now if L dominated RL load, if I find out, now let us, same, already it is actually. Minus I naught to plus I naught. This is the current. I naught. This is VAB. Alternating voltage. Fine. So this is the complete analysis of single phase voltage source inverter. One more thing. You can see that the L, whenever we have using L in the load, that is generally connected to the pole. L is generally connected to the pole because we cannot make the inductor open circuit. So abruptly we cannot make the inductor current 0, otherwise it will create a flashover. So therefore, so we have to give complete supply for the inductor. We have to connect to the pole because pole will be either connected to T1 or T2. It will be connected to any one. Otherwise, and in another way, the voltage, capacitor is connected to the throws, across the throws. So this is very important thing. So inductor, whenever the inductor is present, that will be connected to the pole, and the capacitor will be connected across the throws. Okay. So that this one doesn't get, capacitor doesn't get short circuited. So with this concept, let us move ahead to the three-phase VSI.